So let's take this time now and get comfortable. Find a position that allows you to connect with the base of your body, to align your spine. Maybe turn your attention inward toward your breathing. Just allow yourself to notice your breath as it is. Notice it without trying to fix or change it. So as you first begin to notice it, you might find it to be a bit erratic, but after watching the breath for a few rounds, you might begin to notice it starting to steady. Notice where you're holding some tension in your body that you might be able to let go of, open up some space. Now, on your next inhale, allow yourself to take a slightly deeper breath in and let your abdomen soften and expand. And then on the exhale, slow the exhale down. You might even exhale through your mouth. Inhale, breathing in deeply, let the belly expand. Long, slow exhale out through the mouth until you're fully depleted on the exhale. Now on the next inhale, as we breathe in and expand the abdomen, lift your head up, draw your shoulders back gently. And exhale, slowly release the chin down toward the chest and let your shoulders round forward, and exhale completely, drawing the abdomen back toward the spine. Inhale, lift. Draw the shoulders back, nice deep breath in, and on the exhale, slow it down, round the shoulders, round out the mid-back, and exhale completely. Now once again, we're going to inhale. Maybe take those hands slightly behind you, let those shoulders draw back even more. And then on the exhale, let's begin to round forward, bring your hands to your knees, round out that mid-back, let go of some of that mid and low back tension. And then we're going to inhale, sit up nice and tall, hinge from our hip flexors, place our hands down in front, and we might slide our hands out in front. And breathe. Just allow yourself to notice how this feels. And so we're going to meet some resistance as we extend those arms forward. Don't push through it. Find a good release of tension across your sacrum, into the glutes, the low back. And then let's take our hands to the right. As you take the hands over to the right, begin to notice how the left side of the body feels, the left hip, the rib cage, the waist. And then let's bring the hands back to center. Take your hands over to the left. Notice how the right side of the body feels. And breathe. Let's bring those hands back to center. Let's walk our hands back in. And you might place that left hand next to your hip. Lift your right arm up. Bring your hand over to your temple, and let's just lean over to the left a bit. Just come into a real gentle lateral flexion of the spine. Staying here. Maybe bend your elbow slightly if you like. And you might slide that hand out a bit and reach through those fingers. Notice where your gaze is. If you're looking up, forward, or down, how does that feel in your neck? And see if you can bring your neck into a more neutral place. And then inhale, let's come back up. Place your right hand down next to your hip. Let's lift the left arm up. Elongate through that arm. Bring your hand over to your temple. Lean over to the right. Notice how the left side of your body feels. And breathe. We might bend the elbow. Maybe slide that hand out. Maybe you take that hand and reach through those fingertips and come into a deeper lateral flexion. Again, where is the neck in neutral here? Allow it to be in that neutral place. Let's come back up to center and exhale and release. Let's lift our shoulders up by our ears. Bring them up real close to the ears. Elongate the spine as you do. And on the exhale, release the shoulders with an audible Inhale, draw the shoulders up by the ears. And exhale. Once again, we're going to inhale, lift the shoulders up. And exhale. Now let's go ahead and lift our right shoulder up. And then on the exhale, draw the right shoulder back as far as feels comfortable. Let that shoulder come down. We want to keep our spine straight, our shoulders, the front of our torso facing forward. We're going to be moving that right shoulder. Bring the shoulder forward, lift it up, draw the shoulder back, release it down. And then one more time, let's bring that shoulder forward, lift it up. And on the exhale, we're going to draw it back. Place that hand down behind us, sit nice and tall. Notice how above and below the collarbone feel in between your shoulder blade and spine. And then bring your left hand over to your right leg. Remembering that the spine's only twisting from mid-chest to tailbone. So maybe we bring our torso facing toward that right knee and just explore this twist. Now we can stay here. It's fine if you want to turn your head and look at your shoulder. Just make sure we're not straining our neck when we do that. And breathe. And then we're going to come back to center, bringing both hands forward. Lift your left shoulder up, draw the shoulder back, release it down. Keep it down as you bring it forward, lift it up. Exhale, draw the shoulder back, release it down. And once again, we're going to bring that shoulder forward, lift it up. Exhale, draw it back, place your hand down behind you, sit tall. Bring the right hand over to the left leg. Again, twisting the torso just to where it feels comfortable for us, maybe facing that left leg. And feel that twist. Notice how that feels, if there's any discomfort. Once again, you may look toward that left shoulder if that feels comfortable in your neck, but make sure that you don't feel like you're straining or pushing. And breathe. We're going to come back to center. Let's do one last thing in the seated position, then we'll move on to a different position. So bring your attention into your hips. Let's sit tall. And we're going to do hip circles. Hip circles are somatic. We want to really keep the focus in the hips as we lean to the right. And then lean over that right knee. Bring your torso to the center. Take it over to the left. And back up to center. So make sure that we're feeling the hips making the circle. Circles can be much smaller than this. They can be more expansive. Just move through this in a way that feels comfortable for you. Not forcing. So we're exploring increasing our range of motion, minimizing pain, and allowing our brain and our body to reconnect a little bit more fully. We'll take one more circle in this direction. Then when we come back to center, let's decide if we want to switch the cross of the leg. It's not required. It might feel like a good idea to you, but don't feel forced to do it. Do what feels right for your body. And then we're going to make the circles in the opposite direction. Shift left, lean forward over that knee, come to the center, over to the right, and back up to center. So let's take our time as we move through this. And we're going to take a couple more circles. Move at your own pace, no rush. And then completing this one final circle. Now, once we come back to center, we're going to move into a child's pose. So let's place the shins on the mat. Ease our hips back toward the heels. Let the chest rest on the thighs. Stack your hands flat and fists underneath your forehead if you like. You might even decide you'd rather bring those hands back by the ankles and let your shoulders relax more comfortably. So once you've chosen the child's pose that suits you the best, give yourself permission to breathe deeply, exhale slowly. Compression in the knees, the hips, stretching the tops of the ankles. Good compression in the abdomen for digestion, and it also boosts your immune system. And now from here, let's extend those arms forward. Place both palms on the mat. Forehead can be lifted, relax through the shoulders, and then you might shift forward. Bring your shoulders over your wrists. And on the exhale, let the hips release down toward the mat. Elongate your hip flexors, ease some of that back tension. And then inhale, gently lift your hips, and exhale, ease it back towards your heels. So you might find that you'd rather just stay in child's pose. That's an option. Maybe you come forward into this back bend and stay here a bit longer. Or just flow at your own pace through this, noticing how it feels. Now this time when we come forward, we're going to pause. And then we might bend our elbows lower down toward the mat. Once we come down, let's stack the forearms and turn our head to one side. Crocodile pose with hip flexors elongated. Some gentle compression in the abdomen and some gentle release of back tension. Good place to come to. Passive or yin pose is always a good idea. And breathe. Notice how much tension there is across the back. Notice that gentle compression as you inhale and exhale. Notice if with each exhale, you might be able to let go of a little bit more tension. Now bring your head to center. Let's extend the right arm out away from the shoulder and then bend at the elbow. Bend your right knee. And then let's slide the left hand down beside the hip and rest on our left ear, left temple in half frog. So passive or yin release of tension in the hip and shoulder. The shoulder, we might notice if we're gripping with our arm to protect it. Let's see if we can let go of that holding on. And then with the hip, we want to notice if we need to bring that knee closer to the elbow, which should ease the tension in the hip, or move it down and out and away from the body, which is going to increase the stress on the hip. And once you find that place that you want to be, give yourself permission to let go of some more muscular tension. Now inhale, gently lift your head up off the mat. And on the exhale, straighten the right leg, bring your head back to center. Bend your left elbow this time, same position in L shape. Bend your left knee. Slide the right hand down beside your hip. Come to rest on that right ear, right temple. And once again, we're going to scan and notice where we need to let go of tension or where we need to make adjustments. Now inhale, lift the head, and on the exhale, extend that leg back down toward the end of the mat. We're going to slide our hands in close to our rib cage. Gently press into your palms. As you push up, you're coming up into a deeper back bend. See if you can still relax the muscles through the low back and hips. And then we're going to go ahead and ease our hips back toward our heels. Take the knees wide. Let your toes come together. Walk your hands in until your hips come close to the heels. Come down onto the forearms. And then stack your hands underneath your head for wide knee child's pose. And breathe. Inhale, lift your head. And on the exhale, we're going to come to a tabletop position. Place your wrists underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And again, tabletop is just a basic pose. We just really want to make sure that we're engaging the muscles across our shoulder blades and in our low back so everything's neutral. And notice how this feels. We might take our right leg back. Press through the heel. Straighten that leg out enough that you feel that good stretch in the back of the right leg. And breathe. Maybe bring your right leg and cross over the left. Tuck the toes on the outside of the body. Look over that left shoulder at the right foot. Tiger stretch. And then let's bring that right leg back to center. We'll step our right foot forward and through. Just place the right foot on the mat, knee directly over the ankle, left hand across from that right knee, or right foot, I'm sorry, and then turn to the right, and notice how this feels as you turn to the right. We're coming into a modified twisted lunge. You might lift that right arm up. So this is a good twist for the spine, nice and gentle. If you need more, tuck the toes on the left leg and come off that left kneecap. And breathe. Now place your hands on the inside of that right foot. Gently set the left knee down. And let's ease our hips back and forward. So as we're moving back and forward like this is going to work your ankles, your knees, your hips, your hamstrings, and quadriceps gently. And as long as that knee is comfortable on the mat, that's great. If you ever need to, you can just put an extra towel or some type of a cushion underneath the knee. But this is going to work your joints through their range of motion, nice and gentle. You have good control over how much you're moving these and how deeply you go into that lunge forward or that shift back. And then let's come back to neutral. Step back with that right foot. Come back into our tabletop position. Let's extend our left leg back. Tuck the toes, level the hips. Decide if you want to take that left leg and cross over the right. Tuck your toes. Look over your right shoulder at your left foot. And again, come into your lateral flexion. Tiger stretch. And then let's bring that left leg back to center. And then we're going to step the left foot forward and through again. Take your time to position the knee right over the ankle. Right hand across from that left foot. Turn to the left. Lift your left arm up if you like. You might tuck your toes on your right leg, press through that heel, and breathe. And then go ahead and place that left hand down on the inside. Gently release your right knee. And once again, we're going to ease our hips back and forward here. Take your time. Notice how this feels. Not forcing or pushing anything. So keeping in mind moving the joints through their range of motion, on a daily basis in a gentle way. And this can be done like lying on your back too. You can straighten and bend the knee or the hips. Just a little bit every day is good. And then let's come back and step that left knee back and let's swing around again. So we're going to come into a seated pose. Let's bring the right leg forward and bring our left leg back. Let's see if that's can be comfortable for us. You can adjust if you need to. And do try to bring your torso into an upright position so that you feel balanced and comfortable. And then let your right hand rest beside you and just bring your left hand over to your right shoulder. So we're just going to begin to turn to the right. Notice how that feels. Gentle twist. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, gentle twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Once more, exhale, that gentle twist to the right. Now inhale, come back to center, and this time let's turn to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale. Exhale, right. Inhale. Exhale, left. Now this time we're going to come back to center, turn to the right, release our hand from our shoulder, place both hands down. And now we're in a pretty significant twist that's focused primarily in the hips, but it's getting up into the waist and torso as well. You can stay upright here, or you might walk your hands forward and fold over this leg. Come down onto the forearms if you like, and breathe. So we're in deer pose now. And then let's walk the hands back in. As we come back to center, we might press into our right hand. You can lift up your hips and stretch out your hip flexors. You can reach with that left arm. And then lower your hips back down. Now let's extend the left leg out. So we have our right leg centered, our hands resting in front of that right ankle. So we're coming into a forward fold. We're just going to lean from our hip flexors. And so this is not only going to be focused on our back with the forward fold, but the extended legs. So we don't want to force anything. You're going to meet some resistance somewhere. Just notice where that resistance is. When you meet the resistance, rather than pushing through it, give yourself permission to pause and breathe. And if your body relaxes and you can go a bit further forward, fine. But if it doesn't, we're not going to push it. And breathe. And then you might take your hands over to that extended leg. We're going to be turning our torso, so it's going to bring the attention into that right hip. Let your hands rest on your shin. You can slide the hands toward the ankle. You might even take that right hand to the outside of the left leg, ankle, or foot. And breathe. Now we're going to walk our hands back in. And then maybe we come into easy seated pose here, or you might choose square pose, whichever feels best in your hips and knees. Or we also have the option of knee on top of knee, but I know that's not a fan favorite here. So once we come into a pose that feels comfortable for us, we're going to take our arms out to shoulder height. Bring your right arm over the left. Give yourself a big hug. Notice how that feels. This is a good stretch across the upper back, and it shortens the muscles in the chest. We already moved in the opposite direction, so this is a great way to relieve some tension in your shoulders as well. Stay here, or you might decide to round forward. You can place your hands down on your legs. Maybe they release down in front, or maybe even have a pillow or a bolster or something that you can let your hands rest on. And breathe. Now this is going to give you a deeper stretch in your glutes and in your hamstrings, so just be gentle with it. we're going to inhale and come back up to center. And on the exhale, let's unwind the arms, press your palms out, release your hands down beside your hips. Let's lower our chin toward our chest. And then let's take that chin over towards your right shoulder. Look out over the right shoulder. Lift your chin up gently. Bring your head to center. Keep your spine elongated as much as possible so that you begin to notice how this feels in the back. Turn your head to the left. Lower the chin down and let it come back to the center of your chest. And let's move through 2 more circles like this. Take your time as you move through it. Notice where you feel the stretch as you move through this. Again, it can be very likely isolated just to the neck, but it might be felt in the shoulders, upper back, or even down into the low back. One final circle. The somatic movement, allowing yourself to have as much space to move through the range of motion in the joint, can be really helpful. Now, when the chin comes back to center, go ahead and lift it up. Let's let that left leg be forward and the right leg back. Again, take the time and position it so that you feel comfortable and stable and able to sit upright. Let your left hand support you in that upright position. Bring your right hand to your left shoulder. Inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to turn to the left. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, turning to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Now inhale, come back to center, and on the exhale, let's turn to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale. Exhale, right. Inhale. Exhale, left. And once more, inhale. Exhale, right. Inhale. Exhale, left. Both hands come down. Stay in the upright position or fold over this leg. Come down onto your forearms. And breathe. Walk those hands back in. You might press into that left hand. Maybe you lift your hips up and reach that right arm up and over. And then let's lower those hips back down. Extend the right leg out. Keep that left leg centered. Leaning forward, allow yourself to explore walking the hands out in front of you. And again, only going to where your body allows you to go without pushing through any pain. And then we can explore taking our hands over to that extended leg, fold over that leg. Slide that left hand to the outside of the right leg, ankle, or foot. And breathe. Walk those hands back in. You might bring that right leg back in front of the left, or possibly bring it to square pose. Let's take our arms out to shoulder height, left arm over the right. Give yourself another big hug. Stay here, or it's possible you might choose to intertwine the arms. Stay upright, or add the forward fold, and breathe. Now inhale, you come back up. Exhale, release your arms out. Let your hands come down beside your hips. You can walk them slightly behind your hips, and 3 more circles in the opposite direction, lowering your chin towards your chest. Let the chin travel across the chest over toward your right shoulder. Or should I say left? Left shoulder, sorry. Lift your head up. Bring your head to center. Turn to the right. Lower your chin back down. And back to the center of the chest. 2 more circles. Moving in the direction, the opposite direction of what we did before, so that we get that same opening of space and releasing of tension. Taking your time. And breathe. And then when your chin comes back to the center, and no rush to get there, let's pause. Lift the head up. Let's come onto our backs, supine positions. Place both feet on the mat. Ease your hips toward your heels and slowly lower down to the mat until we are completely supine, and we want to make sure that everything's comfortable. So let the back of the head rest right in the center of the back of the skull so your neck feels elongated. Lift up the edges of your shoulders if you like and let them come back down. Check to make sure the arch of the back is not uncomfortable off the mat. And then position your feet where it feels most comfortable for you. And then let the knees sway side to side a bit here. Just a small movement. As you start to let the knees move from side to side, notice how your rib cage feels, your waist, your hips, knees, and ankles. So it's not a big movement to start, but after we start to move, if it feels like your body wants to, you can start to let the knees drop closer and closer to the floor. Again, this is something nice that can be just done daily if your body needs to relax. Letting go of agendas or something you're trying to accomplish, and just let your body release any pent-up tension. And then after we complete this on both sides this last time, we're going to come back to center. And then just make sure your feet are just about hip distance apart this time. Let's lift this right leg up off the mat. And let's slide our hands between the thigh and the calf. Drawing that knee in close is going to add some nice compression into your abdomen. Now we might go ahead and begin to straighten that right leg up toward the ceiling partially, or you might fully straighten it. Hands can stay here the whole time to support that leg, but it's not necessary unless that's what you need. You can point your toes and flex your foot. Now, when you point and flex the foot, notice that full stretch in the back of the legs, as well as the top of the shin and foot. Your quadriceps softens, so it lets go of some back tension associated with the tight quadricep, and you're building your hip flexor strength. And then interlace behind the knees. Let's put one thumb on either side of the knee, and on the exhale, let's bend that knee. Draw it in, and then inhale and straighten it. So moving that knee through its range of motion, you can fully extend the leg, and on the exhale, slowly bend it and draw it toward the back of the thigh so that you get that nice compression in the knee. And again, inhale, straighten, and exhale, and bend. And then we're going to go ahead and place our right hand on our right knee. And then we just want to move that right knee out towards your right shoulder. So you've got some compression going on in your hip and in your knee. And then we're going to let that leg open out to the side of the body. So take your time as that inner thigh opens out. Now this is going to be a significant stretch in the groin area. You're going to stretch that inner thigh muscle. So we want to have the hand here for support if we need to. Remember, it doesn't have to go all the way to the floor, just where it feels comfortable. Now we might straighten this right leg out away from us. And again, have the hand there under the knee for any kind of support. When you straighten the leg, you're going to get a full stretch in the inner thigh as well as the back of the leg. And you can draw that leg up a little higher if you need to have a deeper stretch in the back of the leg as well. And then let's rebend that knee. And then we're going to go ahead and straighten our right arm away from us. So this allows that inner thigh to elongate. Bring it across the center point and let it come back up to the shoulder. And let that hand be resting on the knee. Let's take it through 2 more circles. Maybe they're not as expansive as the first one. If it felt good, you can go through that full range of motion. But again, this could be a nice small circle if you need to, just for the range of motion in your hip. The other entails a little bit more stretching of the muscles. We don't have to go all the way there if you don't want to. And let's complete this last circle. And when that knee comes back in towards your shoulder, let's put our right foot on top of the left thigh. And now we're in a figure 4 position. Good hip opening stretch right here. Allow yourself to just gently bounce the knee. And we want to really notice how our piriformis feels, the groin area where the ligaments and tendons are, the inner thigh. And we can stay right here. This is all good. But if you like, you want to bring that left knee in towards your chest, that's going to intensify that stretch in the right hip and knee. You might wrap your hands around that left shin, a little bit more intense here. And breathe. Now set that left foot down, and then we're going to release that right foot. Now let's go ahead and draw that left knee in toward us. Again, interlace behind the thigh, so it's taking some of that compression off the knee. And then from here, we might straighten that left leg up toward the ceiling, partially or fully. We might decide to point the toes and flex that foot. Take your time as you move through this and notice how it feels. Good overall leg stretch. And you don't have to keep the hand behind the knee unless you want to, but it is just a good idea if you need that support there. Now flex that foot. And then we're going to go ahead and rebend that knee. Bring the knee back in toward the chest. Let your left hand rest on the knee, and let's open that knee out to the side. Slide it to the outside of the torso. Let the knee drop toward the floor. It's going to stretch the inner thigh. Again, as that knee comes down, you might decide to straighten that left leg out away from you. Notice how that feels on the inside of the knee, the back of the thigh, the hip, and breathe. Now rebend that knee. Extend that knee out further from you, like as far as your left arm will extend. And then bring it across the center point and bring it back up toward the shoulder. So it is going to work your hip all the way through its range of motion. We'll take our hip through its range of motion 2 more times. Explore how this feels. Remember, you can modify and make smaller circles if you need to. And final circle in this direction. Now, when that left knee comes back in toward the torso, let's interlace behind that thigh once more. And let's go ahead and do 3 full slow somatic leg extensions. So extend that left leg all the way up, extending that leg. And then on the exhale, slowly bend the knee, drawing that leg back in towards you. And just do 2 more leg extensions. This is going to really focus on the knee moving through its range of motion. And exhale. So just like any other somatic practice, this is a good way to get your mobility back in your knee, keep it moving without pushing through pain. Inhale and exhale. Now, once that knee comes back in, let's bring this left foot over on top of our right thigh. So we're back into supine pigeon. Notice how this feels. Again, it can stay right here. You can bounce the knee a bit if you like. Or, once again, you might bring that right knee in, wrap your hand around that shin for a deeper stretch. And breathe. Now, release that right foot back down. Now let's keep this left knee in, bring your right knee in as well, and then take your knees to the outside of the torso. Now, as you widen your knees, it's going to take some of the compression off your abdomen. It's going to bring you into a deep compression in your hips. You might decide to reach for the edges of the feet, lift the soles of the feet up toward the ceiling and happy baby. Now, this is deep compression in the hips. It also presses your back down into the mat, so you can explore this. You might even decide to rock a little side to side, kind of a gentle low back massage. Now let's come back to center, bring the soles of the feet together. You might interlace around the feet. Now allow yourself to open the knees out. This is going to be focused on stretching your inner thighs, I should say, both of them, not just one. Notice how this feels. So supine butterfly pose. Now let's bring both knees back to center. And on the exhale, we're going to let both feet come down onto the mat. Let's let both knees release to the right side of the body. We're coming into a supine spinal twist. Extend your left arm out. Look towards your left hand. So pretty gentle twist. But notice if you're holding some tension somewhere. Notice your toes and your ankles. Are you curling your toes or flexing your ankles? What about the muscles in the legs? Can we allow the muscles in the legs to relax a little bit more comfortably? With the arm extended out, notice how that left shoulder feels. You can look toward that left hand if you like. So pretty gentle supine spinal twist. And then we're going to inhale, bring the knees back to center. And on the exhale, allow your knees to release to the left. Extend your right arm out, look towards your right hand. And once again, allow yourself to relax 5 or 10% more deeply into this twist, letting go of whatever unnecessary tension you might be holding. And breathe. Now let's bring the knees back to center. And then from here, let's take the feet wide and just let the knees drop in toward each other. This passive internal rotation. Let the toes turn in, knees rest against each other, and notice how this feels in the hips and across the sacrum. Passive internal rotation, we're focusing on ligaments and tendons and connective tissue. Just breathe. So you might feel that like an intense stress in those areas, hopefully not any pain. But the goal here is to relax our muscles enough so that that tension starts to melt away a bit. And then we're gonna walk the feet in closer together, ankles and knees touching. Let the soles of the feet come together, let the knees drop open. Passive external rotation of the thighs. And just allow your body to relax into this. Again, a yin practice, targeting those ligaments and tendons right in the groin area. Lots of tension held there. Just be gentle and see if you don't notice the sensation of gravity drawing your knees toward the floor a little bit more. See if you can let go of some of the muscular tension you're holding on to facilitate a deeper release. And then on the next exhale, let's let both legs slide all the way to the end of the mat. Reach your arms overhead. And let's stretch out from the tips of our fingers to the tips of our toes. You can point and flex your feet a few times to further stretch the back of the legs. Really reach to those fingertips so that you open up some space between the rib cage and hips. And then when you feel like you've stretched enough, flex your feet, let them gently fall open to either side. Ease your hands down so that they rest palms up away from the hips. Take some time and adjust and see if this is as comfortable as you can be. And if it isn't, make some adjustments now to allow your body to be as comfortable as you can be for the final relaxation. Bringing your attention to what matters most to you at this time, what guides you each and every day, what gets you up in the morning and keeps you going throughout the day. Even when things feel like they're stressful, there's that thing that matters the most to you that really helps you to stay focused in your center. And set an intention for the rest of your practice that supports that. Allow yourself to begin to notice the physical body, the physical sensations, coolness or warmth, comfort or discomfort. Noting those areas that feel like they weren't able to let go of the tension that you wanted to let go of tonight. And notice the areas that feel deeply relaxed. Allow yourself to begin to notice the breath. Observe the quality of the breath without judging it. Just observe the rhythm, the depth, the pace. Noticing how it feels to take a deep breath in and a full and complete exhale out. Just observing the breath without trying to fix or change anything at this time. Allow yourself to notice external distractions calling your attention, sounds, smells, the light. Allow yourself to begin to notice any emotions that are present. Maybe there's one particular emotion calling your attention, or possibly a whole myriad of emotions. Allow yourself to begin to notice if there's any thoughts that are present. Maybe one particular thing we're focused on, thinking about, but maybe it's a whole list of things to do. Maybe it's that place where you start to begin to think about what you're going to do after class is over. When you begin to notice all these things, allow yourself to notice them again without trying to fix or change them. Just observe. Allow yourself to just be the observer. So we aren't our emotions, any more than we are the physical sensations that we have, or the sounds outside the room, or light in the room. All these things are objects in our awareness. We're the awareness. We're the one that's aware of everything. Even though we tend to identify with a lot of the things that we feel are more personal, such as our emotions or thoughts, again, there's something we're aware of, which makes it different from us, the one that's aware of everything. So allow yourself to notice all the things you're aware of and give yourself permission not to have to fix or change anything right now, not to have to do anything about the things you're aware of. Let go of self-judgment, expectations. Just allow yourself to simply be exactly as you are in this moment. If you notice some physical tension that's there, just like the thoughts, rather than trying to push the physical tension away, or if we feel a positive sensation without holding on to that, observe the sensations, the rising and falling with the sensations, the expansion and contraction of sensations. Let it go of judging or labeling or even attempting to fix anything right now. See if you don't begin to notice an ebbing and flowing of the sensation. Maybe you feel tension rising up, and as you observe it, you might begin to observe it dissipating somewhat. Allow yourself to notice everything and recognize that just being exactly as you are right now is enough. Allow yourself to just be, just observe, and notice. And find yourself attaching and thinking, or becoming a little bit more focused on one thing or another. And again, let it all come and go at the pace and the rate that it is. What if we just give ourselves a little time each day to just observe everything and just be, extending some grace to our physical discomforts, our mental and emotional struggles, the busyness of our mind, extending some compassion to what we're experiencing, and recognizing that we're always doing the very best that we can, each and every day, every moment, and that we have the ability to stay centered amidst all the chaos going on around us. Finding that quiet place within that we can just be at peace and observe and breathe. Allow yourself to connect with that felt sense of being safe and secure in your body, knowing that you can always come back to that. Each and every day, when you find yourself in a situation where everything feels overwhelming, remember we can come back to that quiet place. that safe place within us. Allow yourself to notice your intention that you set for tonight. Did you have the experience you wish to have? Is there something you'd like to change about your intention for the coming evening? Allow yourself to reconnect with what matters most to you in this lifetime. Reconfirming that guiding principle, deepening your awareness or your expression of that. Allow yourself to begin to come back into a more wide awake state of consciousness, possibly blinking your eyes open and closed. Maybe we begin to stretch the body. Take your time slowly and gradually making your way back to a comfortable seated posture at your own pace. Sitting in a way that suits you. Choose your favorite mudra if you like. Take a moment and notice your entire practice and what worked for you. And also notice what didn't. Allow yourself to like what you liked and not like what you didn't like. Let yourself have the experience you had. I want to thank you all for sharing your practice with me tonight. I honor the place in you which is of love, of truth, of light, and of peace. From my heart to yours. Namaste.